In today's news, next government to develop new framework for reforms. Missing team found safe and unharmed. 50th BVI Spring Regatta hailed as a smashing success, the best to date. Well, no to single-party government, VI needs experienced leadership, says Julian Fraser. And O.J. Smith fires back at Fraser's claims. Well, viewers, these and more stories when 284 News return.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Rashford made it, Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Welcome viewers to the Thursday, April 6th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. While leading today's news, Overseas Territories Minister, the Right Honourable Lord Goldsmith, has concluded that the implementation of the COI recommendation has been too slow. But this was revealed by Governor His Excellency John Rankin as he presented the contents of a letter sent to him by the OT Minister in response to his most recent quarterly review on the implementation process. Well, it revealed that Goldsmith expressed concerns that there have been signs of insufficient commitment, while too many areas lag substantially behind.
Overall, the Minister agrees with my conclusion that serious efforts and clear prioritisation of time and resources are required to pick up the pace to deliver the reform that the people of the BVI want and deserve. Some adjustments to the deadlines in the framework document will be required. The Premier has asked for 11 extensions to deadlines in areas for which he is responsible, and I have asked for 2 in areas for which I'm responsible. Minister Goldsmith has consequently asked me, following the upcoming general election, to agree with the next BVI government a refreshed timetable for the delivery of the remaining recommendations and reforms in the framework document. This should include ambitious yet achievable deadlines to ensure that the necessary reforms have taken root no later than May 2024. If that can be achieved, that should allow the UK Order in Council to be lifted.
But the Minister also agreed with the Governor's conclusion that there is a need for prioritization of time and resources to speed things up. As a result, the Governor has been instructed to work alongside the next elected government of the Virgin Islands to develop a new framework for the implementation of the reforms, inclusive of a new timeline for delivery.
Overall, the Minister agrees with my conclusion that serious efforts and clear prioritisation of time and resources are required to pick up the pace to deliver the reform that the people of the BVI want and deserve. Some adjustments to the deadlines in the framework document will be required. The Premier has asked for 11 extensions to deadlines in areas for which he is responsible, and I have asked for 2 in areas for which I'm responsible. Minister Goldsmith has consequently asked me, following the upcoming general election, to agree with the next BVI government a refreshed timetable for the delivery of the remaining recommendations and reforms in the framework document. This should include ambitious yet achievable deadlines to ensure that the necessary reforms have taken root no later than May 2024. If that can be achieved, that should allow the UK Order in Council to be lifted.
The Governor says he intends to hit the pavement running as soon as the general election concludes.
Once the general election is over, I will sit down with whichever government is in place to work out a refreshed plan for implementing the commitments in the framework document. Let me be crystal clear. I remain fully determined to ensuring that such implementation takes place, just as the UK government remains committed to taking the necessary actions to ensure that the people of the BVI get the reforms that they deserve.
But the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force expressed gratitude to the public for their assistance in locating 14-year-old Jessica Lewis, who was reported missing since March 31st. Following the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force's appeal to the public on April 4th, Lewis was reportedly located safe and unharmed to her parent. But according to police, Jessica, prior to her discovery, was last seen in the West End area of Tortola on March 31st. But the 50th BVI Spring Regatta and Sailing Festival, which welcomed an estimated 71 boats from 13 countries across the world, has been hailed as a smashing success and the best of the 50 festivals held to date. But more in this report. The week-long event, which commenced at Naniki Tortola on Monday, March 27th, with an estimated 1,000 sailors, concluded on Sunday, April 2nd, with contestants receiving numerous awards for top placements in their respective racing divisions. Patrons who were present on the grounds of Naniki also got to enjoy the food and drinks available by the respective vendors and sponsors, as well as the entertainment, which included a full spectacle of fireworks following the awards ceremony. The chairman of the BVI Spring Regatta and Sailing Festival, Bob Phillips, labeled this year's festival as the best ever held.
This has been, as our 50th, the best event we have ever put on. We had great wind conditions, the boats were screaming, we had some breakdowns, but you know, that just happens. But for them to be fully powered up, having a great time out there, multiple races, our race committees did a great job, they got to see a lot of the BVI. It's what we do here with the Spring Regatta and Sailing Festival. They went up to Scrub Island, they went around Tortola, they got to see the north side. They did and got to see and experience what the BVI has to offer. And that's what we'd like to do.
Premier and Minister of Tourism, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, said the festival was a smashing success, stating that the rebounding numbers of this year's festival is supporting evidence that the BVI is open for business.
Yeah, this event is definitely a smashing success. The government and the Tourist Board is really proud to be a sponsor for this event. Of course, as you know, the last few years, we've been dealing with things like pandemics, and of course, we were going through somewhat of a transition as it pertains to our marine policies and things like that, which may have discouraged boaters last year. So we're happy that we're really bounced back in a big way and letting the world know that the BVI is open for business and that we're welcoming to the sailing community from around the world. And 70 plus boats is amazing. And of course, the weather conditions have been ideal for sailing. And I've been told, of course, it's been a busy time, so I haven't been able to be around, but I've been told that it's been a smashing success.
Premier Wheatley also said his government has a strong vision for tourism and that he plans on working with the respective sailing committees to further diversify the marine industry.
Tourism is one of our main pillars, but we know that tourism can perform even better than it has performed in the past. And a real area for development is sailing. You know, we've done well with the sailing capital of the world, but we can do even better than we have through festivals such as this. And we're going to be diversifying our tourism product. We're going to be looking more at sports fishing. We'll make it more welcoming for events like regattas where we have competitive events. And we have a strong vision for tourism. And of course, we're working with the committee that organizes the Spring Regatta.
Director of the BVI Spring Regatta and Sailing Festival, Judy Petts, spoke to the logistics that made the successful festival a reality.
Getting 71 boats here takes actually all year. We start organizing the regatta literally, well, maybe not tomorrow because we're going to break down tomorrow, but we are already on 2024. with other ideas. We market in Europe, we market in the US, we market in all the islands. We are looking for campaign boats that come into the Caribbean, and we work collectively to bring them to each of our islands. So it's a really good group of people that bring sailing to all of our countries. It takes really a year, and then probably since October, it's the details. It's all in the details, and corresponding with everyone who enters, and then making sure everything that they need is here, making sure that they can fly in, making sure that they can bring their boat in, Customs and Immigration, welcoming them, being here Monday and Thursday. I mean, all of those things take time and coordination, and so as seamless as it is, or it seems, there's so much that goes behind the scenes.
Meanwhile, General Manager at Naniki Resort and Marina, Mal Sutherland Pilch, spoke to his organization's involvement in the event over the last 2 decades and described the 50th edition of the festival as an incredible event.
It's been an incredible event, to be honest. We've had wind like never before, and the conditions have been absolutely perfect on the water. We love hosting this event here at Naniki, and just seeing the village come alive, the BVI residents come out, and yeah, it's truly a highlight of the year, to be honest. And all of the departments around Naniki, all my staff get involved in the event, whether they're working in the village late at night serving drinks, tickets, to in the marina, the hotel. So it's really a team effort from us at Naniki, and we thoroughly enjoy it.
Also present was the Director of Tourism, Clive McCoy, who spoke on what the BVI Spring Regatta means to the territory's tourism product.
Well, as you know, the British Virgin Islands is the sailing capital of the world. We are known for the best sailing anywhere, and it's events like this BVI Spring Regatta, that solidifies that fact. I heard the weather was amazing this year, perfect weather for sailing. We've had international sailors here racing, so it means so much for us to the British Virgin Islands, especially coming off of COVID, to see so many guests coming in here for what we're known for. I'm absolutely thrilled, absolutely happy, and we look forward for the 51st.
Well, up next, no to single-party government. VI needs experienced leadership, says Fraser. O.J. Smith envisions clean developed District 3, and O.J. Smith fire back at Julian Fraser's claims, calls them attempts to misinform and mislead residents. Well, these and more stories afterward from our sponsors. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
Angie, how can I get my claims paid quick? Rent's due next week.
CG processes 99% of claims within 5 days. Remember when I was hang gliding with those goats? I caught a gust of wind and flew right into a moving car. Every appendage was in the cast, and they paid fast and fairly. That's what I get for trusting a man with a mustache and an eye patch. Now I gotta go. I'm meeting the guy who bedazzled my toes.
99% of claims are processed within 5 days. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talk about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial, turn into 5 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watch him ball. I even watch him football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, you can't send back the same group of people who caused this to happen in the first place. Well, those were the words of District 3 incumbent Honorable Julian Fraser, as he explained that it may not sit well with the United Kingdom should Virgin Islanders vote to return a single-party majority, particularly one of the Virgin Islands Party, to form the next government. Well, he spoke as a guest on Tweet4 Media's Just for the Record.
It scares me and everyone who knows what's taking place right now, as far as I just mentioned the Art and Council. It scares me, and it would not sit well with the United Kingdom government if the people goes to the poll on April 24th and return a single party with a majority of the candidates. It will not suit well, especially if that party is a Virgin Islands party, and I'll tell you why. Remember, we are now sitting with a party, they call it a unity government. My designation for it was to be an all-party government, which is where the whole idea came from when I brought it up and presented it, the concept. It's because of that order in council is not executed, and it is a direct rule. They had to use that concept in order to convince the British government that we, as a group in the House of Assembly, would work in unison to execute those recommendations that were made. And that's what saved them. Now, you're telling me that you can't send back the same group of people who caused this to happen in the first place. We told you before that if you come here before us, this is what we're going to do. We're going to impose direct rule. And we said to you, no, don't do that. We will form an all-party government to impress upon you our seriousness and our commitment. And I am telling you right now, there is no way under God's green earth, that come April 24th, any single party is going to win a majority in the House of Assembly.
Well, Fraser said that consideration of this has been a factor in the recent discussion of Progressive United to form an alliance with the Progressive Virgin Islands movement. But he further explained that discussions have been taking place with a third political party in pursuit of securing the emergence of a coalition government.
I have formed an alliance. Progressives United has formed an alliance with Progressive Virgin Islands movement for the sole purpose, and also we've discussed with the other party to discuss the importance of making sure that this Virgin Islands party does not return from the polls on April 24th with a majority. So I will not be some lone ranger in the House of Assembly as I am right now. I make sure that that's not going to happen, as I am right now in the opposition. And I don't intend to be in the opposition in the first place.
Well, he said that in this view, this is a time in which the Virgin Islands requires experienced leaders to navigate what must be done. That is why he is again seeking re-election to continue to represent the people of the District 3 and the wider Virgin Islands. Fraser's full Just for the Record interview will be released to tweet4media.com on Thursday, April 6. Well, moving on to our next story, viewers, where the Virgin Islands Party's District 3 candidate Kevin O.J. Smith has fired back at comments made by Progressive United's chairman, Honorable Julian Fraser, stating that his role in serving the former Premier Andrew Foy as a political advisor had nothing to do with Foy's personal activities. Fraser issued a call to his district opponent at a recent campaign launch, urging Smith to be forthcoming with all the advice he provided the former premier up until his April 28th arrest in Florida. Due to Smith's close involvement with the former premier up until the day of the arrest, Fraser said that the VIP candidate, who was earning in excess of $100,000 as Foy's political advisor, should provide answers to residents of the territory prior to election day. In Smith's response, he said Fraser was attempting to misinform and mislead constituents and the general public.
Honorable Fraser mentioned two things. regarding my employment with the Premier's office, my salary, and the terms of my contract. Firstly, as a professional for over 30 years, I have regularly been employed at the executive level and have always been paid a salary equal to my role and responsibilities, as well as my qualifications. Furthermore, the salary ranges were approved by the Cabinet, and I'm one of 3 consultants who have been paid at that level. My engagement with government pertains to policy matters and projects, which were of importance to any Premier. Whatever occurred with the former Premier is yet to be proven in court. My job did not include advice or dealings with respect to the former Premier's personal activities.
Well, as it relates to Fraser's claim that the United Kingdom does not want the Virgin Islands Party as the governing administration, Smith said the claim is a bold-faced lie.
If the UK wanted the Virgin Islands Party out of government, they would have not allowed 3 members of the Virgin Islands Party to form the unity government. He claimed that the unity government concept was his idea, yet he could not sit as a minister. The real truth is that the UK does not want any person guilty of poor governance or suspected of poor governance to hold public office. Any member of the House of Assembly that has breached the laws of the Virgin Islands is of concern to the UK. The harbour development project in Seacoast Bay was audited and is currently being investigated.
Well, Smith pointed to recommendation B20 of the Commission of Inquiry reports to substantiate his claim, stating that it was solid, fact-based evidence regarding the UK's views of Fraser's handling of the harbour development project.
Recommendation B20 states, in respect of 1, the Seacoast Bay Harbour Development Project, and 2, the Virgin Islands Neighbourhood Partnership Project, I, referring to Mr. Higginbottom, recommend that each matter be referred to the appropriate authorities for consideration of whether a criminal investigation and or investigations in relation to the recovery of the public funds expended should be made, having regard to 1, all the available evidence including the Auditor General's report on the project and the information provided to the Commission of Inquiry, and 2, the dual evidential and public interest test. So there you have it, fact-based evidence regarding the UK's views of Honourable Fraser's handling of a harbour development project.
Well, District 3 candidate Kevin O.J. Smith believes that the 3rd District is the next logical place for development in the Virgin Islands, especially as the territory continues to expand its capacity in tourism industry. But he notes, however, that the district's true potential can only be realized after a significant cleanup is undertaken. At the time, he spoke with Jackal Wadden of Tweet4 Media's Just for the Record program.
To ensure that we develop properly, we have to first clean up the place. We have a lot of derelict vehicles in the sword. We have a lot of issues down at Parkwood Pond that needs to be resolved. The stockpile of derelict vehicles are open burning. The road infrastructure is poor. I want to see that corrected. I want to make sure that the authorities can participate in any of the economic growth that comes into the BVI, because the government has been driving access to the BVI by air and access to the BVI by sea. We're going to be having more cruise ships coming in. We're going to have these direct flights coming soon. So if we're going to make sure that we have all participation in the economic development, we need to have some facilities in the 3rd District. They need to be cleaned up. The restoration of our historical sites. We want to support any businesses that we have, any aspiring business persons that have ideas. We want to support those. And again, I've said that a lot of my plans are based on the National Sustainable Development Plan.
Well, Smith believes that the network he has built over the years places him in a unique position to identify cost-effective ways to bring the necessary technology to the 3rd District to drive the intended development.
I'm a big believer that technology does drive innovation, does help to drive innovation, and does help to diversify the economy so that a greater number of persons can benefit. So I want to introduce all those things in the 3rd District. And like I've said in I didn't think I mentioned in my speech as much, but in my brochure I definitely covered that I have worked with engineers from around the world, not just in the BVI, in India, China, wherever they may be found. And there are very cost-effective ways to deploy some of those technologies on the ground to help our people and make sure that they get the maximum exposure to be the best that they can be.
Well, a particular area of concern in the 3rd, he noted, is continued open burning in Parkwood Pond. Well, Smith said he has personally been affected by the issue, so much so that he has feared for the health of his children. He said addressing the situation there would be a matter of great priority should he be elected.
I have personally been affected by the open burning at Parkwood Pond. So I know how those persons feel. I was concerned for my kids, to be quite honest. And it's one of the discussions I've had with my teammates within the Virgin Islands Party that this is an issue we must get resolved. The former Minister of Health, Honorable Kevin Malone, has been on record in terms of some of the solutions that he had proposed to remedy the situation. For some reason, those proposals have not gone forward, but absolutely, I want to take look at those proposals and take some of those measures forward as a matter of priority. Because the health of your people should be a paramount concern, right? Before or in line with education.
Well, up next, Synergy Pirates, Lady Wings, and Albion Hot Shots open National Fast Pitch League with victories, and Aaron Parallon outlines a third district under his leadership. With these stories, when 284 News return. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're feeling it.
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites. It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
Angie, how can I get my claims paid quick? Rent's due next week.
CG processes 99% of claims within 5 days. Remember when I was hang gliding with those goats? I caught a gust of wind and flew right into a moving car. Every appendage was in the cast, and they paid fast and fairly. That's what I get for trusting a man with a mustache and an eye patch. Now I gotta go. I'm meeting the guy who bedazzled my toes.
99% of claims are processed within 5 days. CG Insurance. Good like that.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
She? I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Well, defending champions Synergy and Pirates both enjoyed victories in their opening games of the 2023 National Fast Pitch League at the Ewalwyn Broley Ballpark last weekend. We're playing in the first game of the women's division on Saturday, April 1st. Synergy defeated West End Warriors 7-2, with the winning pitcher Javelin Fred pitching 4 innings with 5 hits, 4 walks, 1 strikeout, and 2 earned runs. Well, top players for Synergy included Lil Makeda Foy, who was 2 from 2 with 1 run batted in, 1 run scored, a base on ball, and a stolen base. In addition, Daria D. Malone was 1 from 2 with a base on ball. Well, in the men's opening game, defending champs Pirates, thanks to pitcher Rico Penn, defeated Power Outage 11-8. Well, the Pirates had 7 hits with no errors and left 5 runners on base. Well, Penn pitched for 5 innings, giving up 8 hits, 4 walks, striking out 5 batters, and conceding 5 earned runs. Well, meanwhile, in Sunday's games, Lady Wings clipped Sparks to win by 1 run in a game that ended 12-1. Her top players included Rikia Turnbull with her 1 from 3 with 2 runs scored, and Zyla Barry, who was 1 from 2 with 2 runs scored, 1 run batted in, and a base on ball. In the men's game, Albion Hot Shot Silent Storm 24-9, taking their tally tallying 16 hits with 1 error and 6 runners left on base. The top players for hot shots included Cesar Candelario with his 4 from 4 with 5 runs scored, 4 runs batted in and a base on ball. John Soriano and Aaron Harry also performed well to assist their side to victory. Moving on, viewers, to our final story, where Aaron Parillon, the National Democratic Party's 3rd district candidate for the upcoming general elections, recently sat down with our Ron Grant for the Just for the Record series to speak about his plans if elected for the 3rd district. Well, he began by sharing what he has been up to since the last election, in which he first contested for a chance to represent the 3rd district.
I've been active in my community, sourcing more solutions than problems, because we know the problems. But sourcing solutions, actually becoming more engaged in trying to find ways to help the youth get back into society. I've been trying to find ways to beautify my community here and there, just by observation. I'll go into the schools, point out a few things and just act upon them, just let the principals know, especially just to be able to know that this is what I would like to do and get our blessings, and I'll just go forward with it, I've just been active in my community, bro.
Additionally, he outlined what the district looks like now and how he would improve it.
At this present time, the community is in need of development. It is in need of a plan, a structured plan going forward. It has to have an incorporation of youth and elderly, bridging the gaps in between. So within that respect, we haven't done so in quite a long time. And I feel now is the best time for myself to really put forward plans and propel the youth going forward, get them re-engaged into the community, get the elderly re-engaged back into giving back to the youngsters. Development of youth programs, re-engaging, a lot of our parental, I would say, a lot of our parental values of the past, getting those re-engraved back into the community, developing the community in a structured way where it's open for economic development.
Or when asked to introduce himself for the person who may not know him, Parillon shared this.
Aaron Parillon, solid individual, loyalist to my people, a lover of people, a lover of education, a lover of development of youth, what else can I say? I'm just a product of my environment. Very solid, strong character individual.
Well, additionally, when asked why residents should elect him, this was his sentiment.
My people of the 3rd District, you should vote for Aaron Parillon because you have a champion in myself. You have an individual that, no matter the storms we go through, no matter the challenges, no matter the pandemics, you have a brother that will and will always be there for you. You have an individual that stands the test of times. You have an individual with a wealth of knowledge. You have an individual that loves his people and loves all the people of his community. You have an individual that is a staunch believer in the education of our people. I believe in the development of our young people, development of all people of this community. So my people, in myself, you have a champion. Vote Aaron Parillon.
Well, the full series of Just for the Record political series interviews are available on all Twit4 media platforms, where this evening features District 3 candidates. Well, that's all for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at twit4media.com and like us on Facebook at Twit4Media and Twit4BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes. Have a safe and enjoyable Easter weekend. Bye-bye.